How much can we play of this without having to pay anybody?
I
That's
don't
it,
know.
probably.
Is this Mark Anthony?
Yes.
Is that the man?
Because the movie you're making me watch today is a Mark Anthony vehicle. It's starring Denzel Washington, directed by Tony Scott. Can you guess which movie we're watching? Unstoppable.
We already know the movie.
Oh yeah, Man on Fire.
Yep.
Jake.
We watched it all.
What's Schwartz's word?
Schwartz's word. Schwartz's word.
My word is vengeful.
Wait a minute.
That's my word.
Cool. We're gonna do a different take. It's fine.
Okay.
Let the people in on a secret. We're redoing the beginning because the fucking shit cut out first time, but it's fine because this time we're gonna have a good time with it.
That's a
Schwartz,
classic word.
Originally,
Schwartz. Jake.
Yeah, classic word. Mine's forgettable.
Mine's lame. No, I'm just kidding. It was I'm sticking to discombobulating.
Yeah.
Only sometimes though. That's just like the word I thought of, and I didn't think of another word. But there are certainly some discombobulating parts.
Yeah. Weird shit.
Jake Schwartz, what's this movie about? Jake Schwartz.
Jake Schwartz.
This movie is about a former CIA assassin that is pretty much down on life because he's such a murderous scumbag and he regrets his ways. Straight up alcoholic, played by the always great Denzel Washington. He winds up in Mexico City visiting his old pal who used to do scumbag stuff with him, played by the great Chris Walken. Always great, always funny, always the man. So
scumbag stuff.
He's a drunk, you know. He's killed a lot of people, done a lot of bad things, hates it all. And he goes to Mexico, gets a job given to him by his friend Chris Walken, and it is to be a bodyguard in Mexico City for a family, like a rich family, a family that owns I think it's a cars, right? They make cars.
That's like a car dealership.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he's like a car man. No, I think they own a factory. He said he owns a factory.
I thought he was a pop star.
Well, that's who he is in real life. He's played by Mark Anthony.
Oh.
Formerly married.
Sorry.
Formerly married to J-Lo. I think they have a few offspring together.
What?
Anyway, back to the movie.
But J-Lo's with Ben now.
Yeah, dude.
Now they're Benifer.
Benifer's back, baby.
Has Ben come out with an album?
Ben?
Not yet.
Does Ben Affleck have like an album? I feel like he sings.
Probably. He probably does.
He is Batman though.
He's a triple threat writer, director,
triple threat guy.
Actor, singer, superhero.
Okay, back to the movie. So he goes to Mexico, gets a job as a bodyguard for a young industrial family, a rich family, played by Mark Anthony
Fanning.
and Dakota
According
Fanning.
to Mr. Walken, they import Jap cars. I remember that.
Yeah, he did say that.
Just quote the movie.
So anyway,
he to say fucked up shit.
Let me know when you guys are done interrupting, and I'll go on.
All right.
Who's interrupting?
I never interrupt.
Okay, so continuing. This is all set.
Okay.
This is all set in the backdrop of a very bad time in Mexico with kidnappings. I guess a lot of rich people's kids are getting kidnapped, and it ends up being that it's run by the police because corruption is number one out there. I've been to Mexico about 10 times. Fucking hate it every time I go. Because people are just always trying to fuck you. You know what I mean? Different places are different things.
Defund Mexico. Defund the police. We hear you.
No, don't defund Mexico or the police. Just stop trying to fuck us, Mexico. Stop trying to fuck us.
Okay.
You're saying Mexico's
like
trying to fuck you?
Well, they're trying to fuck me every time I go there to spend money. It's like a different price everywhere I go, and I feel like I'm just getting ripped off.
Hey, based off this and Sicario, that seems like a fucking crazy place.
You look like an easy target.
Crazy place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what she said. So anyway, back to it. So what happens is this dude, Denzel, he's a drunk asshole, like I'm saying. He hates his life, and he takes his job because he's got nothing better to do. Slowly, he kind of falls in love with this little girl, not in like a sexual way, but she brings him back to life. He sees what it's like to like want to help somebody and want to care for somebody. Played by Dakota. And this is hands down her best role she's ever had.
South Dakota Fanning.
She was pretty great in it. And then she gets kidnapped and he goes after the sons of bitches.
And murdered.
Yeah.
He murks all of them in great fucking ways, awesome creative ways. And
Such
you
as?
realize that he's kind of a badass. Like he sticks a bomb up a guy's butt and blows him up.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That was pretty awesome. He
It's a-
Butt bomb.
It's interesting. It's interesting how they did that because like she didn't get kidnapped or they think she was murdered for part of it until like an hour into the movie, and then
Yeah.
it's sort of like that's like it's almost like two movies in a way, like which I thought
Uh-huh.
was kind of interesting because it was like the tale of like the hitman and like him learning to love this damaged man learning to love, and then like suddenly it just flips a switch and becomes a fucking crazy like vengeance movie, which was dope.
1000%. It's
Yeah.
a two-parter.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, you have to have the first part to appreciate the second part because without the first
Yeah.
part, the second part doesn't make any fucking sense.
I thought that. I wrote down like, I wonder which part is your favorite part. For me, my favorite part is the second half. Second half is is badass. But I thought the exact same thing. You can't. Second part wouldn't have been as good if you didn't have the first part, which was good. But like, if I was to choose, like, oh man, the second half
Yeah.
was crazy.
It's cool to see as someone who plays that type of character who is, I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad person. He just did bad things for a living, like murdering people, no matter if it's for the government or for just your own pleasure is not a good thing to do. So seeing someone who has affected his life that bad, he really hates himself, to be brought back to life by another person who happens to be someone he never thought he would meet. It's a pretty dope movie in itself. And that could have been a cool movie on its own.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a typical like trope of like the anti-hero kind of guy, but it's still he learns
Because
he
it's
learns to love.
forgettable.
Because there are a lot of random elements to this that like kind of blend in with other movies for me that doesn't necessarily stand out, and this movie wasn't super standoutish to me. Other than I think Denzel Washington was the best part.
Let's go. The cinematography
Really?
was fucking ridiculous.
Cinematography
Cinematography
was
was
good.
awesome.
It was crazy.
Sometimes it was like too like flashy for me. Like they like discombobulating is almost a good word to describe the cinematography at times. Sometimes it was just too like flashy and just like jumping around and just for like
Definitely.
Well,
That's where
Yeah.
that stemmed from.
and it seemed that was just more like to be flashy opposed to like add to like the story or what. I just didn't feel like there was a lot of substance to that.
That's Tony Scott's style.
that
That's-
shit.
Yeah, that's Tony Scott. He from
Not
his,
always though.
but in the 2000s, that's what he did. Domino,
Okay, maybe 2000. Yeah.
Unstoppable, Man on Fire. Those movies were fucking all like that. They were just
Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
taking
I only-
Pelham 1, 2, 3. Like
I've
those
seen
are-
one per decade. That's all I give Tony Scott.
I mean, his best
I got
movies-
Top Gun.
You're gonna run out eventually.
I got True Romance representing the 90s, and then this is my.
You just watched
2000s
Top
movie.
Gun for the first time. What'd you think?
I did. It was all right. If you want to watch the first like 20 minutes of a movie to get really stoked, or if you want to watch like 10 or like 15 minutes of a movie before you go to the gym,
Yeah.
watch the fucking first
Or
20
before
minutes
you-
of Top Gun.
Or before you
After
play
that, it just kind
volleyball.
of like you just got to get real stoked. It's a good stoke movie at first, and then it just kind of goes this dumb
It's a bro
like, love
movie, dude.
romance shit. It's a very big bro movie, and
Super
there's
bro.
other
Slightly
so many just like
homoerotic.
oh yeah for sure. Like at first, like when they first met when they first went into like the first classroom scene, I'm like, are all these dudes gay except Tom Cruise? Like I had that thought, and I'm like, no, probably not, because it's the 80s.
Maybe.
but
You know why?
but maybe,
Because everyone was one way and he was inverted.
yes. So there was a lot of weird, plane
I've never
symbolism.
I've never seen Top Gun. Probably
You've never
will.
seen Top Gun?
What?
Dude.
Anyway, back to this movie.
I know I thought we were gonna, I was pushing. By the way, I was pushing for us to watch Top Gun over Man on Fire.
I'm so happy we didn't.
I was hoping that was going to be our Tony Scott, or I wanted True Romance, to be honest with you. But I think,
But everybody's seen True Romance.
but we all have
Everybody's
also seen
saying,
this.
You
I
have not.
think.
Listen, if you would have been able to tell me you remembered this movie, we wouldn't have watched it. But because you don't remember it, it's the same thing as not seeing it. So stop
Who
it.
said
Just
they
stop
didn't remember it?
Jake,
Me.
Jake. Jake's like,
Like-
I never remembered it. I never seen it, but I never remembered it.
Because it was one of those movies. It was a
That was
Denzel movie
forgettable.
in the early 2000s that like had a lot of same themes of like kidnapping and like the fucking damaged man going good and all this shit. It was like there's a lot of movies that are similar.
It's just
So to me,
another
it just
Tony
kind of
Scott Denzel movie.
yeah, it just kind of blended in with other Denzel
Okay.
or other kidnapping type movies of
Come
the
in
time.
with
Like,
Denzel.
Well,
Come in with
the
Denzel.
now see
Yeah.
the
That's my argument.
cinematography and the use of music is what sets it apart from all those other movies. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
What
Okay.
was so significant about the music?
This movie's a super stylized movie. Like the cinematography is almost like if this movie didn't have that cinematography, it wouldn't be as cool. Like it wouldn't be as exciting. Like I think
Oh.
that the cinematography of cut it, like showing how gritty it is and showing how the Mexico City is such a like a crazy place. And the music was great. It was like a mix of like Nine Inch Nails was like 80% of the soundtrack, which was pretty crazy.
Was that what that was? That's
Yeah, Nine Inch Nails. There's a lot of Nine Inch Nails in the soundtrack.
There was some there was good
Yeah.
music. All right,
Yeah.
can I ask you about the grittiness and that cinematography style?
No.
What about going back? What about like Sicario? Like Sicario
So good.
is like has some shit, but it's not as like flashy.
Yes,
It's more
you're
simplified,
right.
but it's fucking like way better because like the story is great. Like
well, listen.
this could have like done that without the like. I thought the
Have you
flashiness took me out
seen
sometimes. But that's just
Unstoppable?
me.
Have you seen Taking a Pelham 1-3? Have you seen Enemy of the State?
I've seen Enemy of the State. I don't.
That's another
remember if I've
great
seen the
Tony
other
Scott
ones.
movie.
It's,
Enemy of the State's
okay,
another
I
great
forgot.
Tony Scott
I
movie.
feel
I have
like
seen
you're
that.
just arguing against his style.
Maybe. There was some
which is
ridiculous
cool,
parts.
but
There's
that's just
certainly some
it's
ridiculousness
like Tarantino. Like, why are you so bloody?
Enemy.
I do not like it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's maybe just not to my taste and maybe not exactly to my liking in this sense. Like you're totally right. I am just kind of complaining about his style because there's nothing wrong with it. I give him credit because it's like it's high quality.
Dude
It's a
hates
very
style.
well made movie. I
Dude
just
ain't got no
some
style,
style, some style.
motherfucker.
If it takes me out of the movie a little bit and it almost distracts me, then I might not like it.
So that's what this did to you?
Copy.
Sometimes, yeah.
Really? See,
Yeah,
I think that
because it felt like
style is what.
disjointed at times. Like it was like weird, like almost like weird flashy montages that like didn't exactly like work. And I don't know, just like that it was just jumpy to me.
Most of it was to show like what he was thinking, I think, because there was always the thoughts of hit back to Pito when he was always like thinking about revenge and hearing her voice. And I think the style
Yeah.
of this movie was supposed to be the style of what his head is like where his state of mind is. And I think that's what it is. I think the way this movie was edited and the way this movie was shot is his mind. I think that's what it is. His mind sees the world like that. His character's mind.
I see that. That makes sense because one of the first times I noticed it doing that is when like the earlier scenes where he was like getting fucked up and it was all like jarry kind of weird flashiness. And that was just kind of showing that he was fucked up. So maybe you're right. Maybe I didn't really consider that. That might be part of it is like him just thinking and he's putting these pieces together and that sort of like that sort of helped to drive the plot. But to me, it like didn't exactly. It almost made me like more confused at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like it was less of that when he stopped getting fucked up. It's kept up.
Yeah.
With it.
It almost like it picked up more toward on the second half when he was like
definitely.
On,
it was
on
definitely
the,
more
on the
Jason
vengeance
Bourne in the
train.
second half.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that definitely was.
To talk about Sicario, like I get that it's the same place. I get it's the same almost the same story, but the difference is the filmmaker, like Anthony said, like Tony Scott makes super hyper realistic movies. He takes things and he just makes them. Like another movie he made is a movie called Spy Game with Brad Pitt and Robert Redford. You guys ever see that? That was a pretty good Tony Scott movie too.
I don't think so.
It's just it's this hyper reality. Like I mean, it's almost like his brother Ridley Scott does the same thing. He just doesn't take it as far.
Think
Tony
of
Scott's
Gladiator though.
but that's not hyper reality.
Or
There's
like
there's some editing choices though that are pretty
the
similar.
editing choices are very similar to a lot of shit going on in here with the music.
Yeah, and I actually think Gladiator is Ridley Scott's best movie, so I'll agree with that.
I'll do another comparison then in that style of the hyper realism. John Wick. Like I love John Wick shit. That's another like vengeance kind of movie.
Yeah.
I think the second half of this kind of can be compared to the John Wick movies. Not as like as intense, but like in that same. But I love the John Wick because that's just the movie. You kind of just know what it is.
So I read that Tony Scott based the style of this movie off of the movie City of God too. He said he saw City of God and was like, I want to kind of do a little bit of that in here. And there's a lot of this camera work in that too.
I see that.
Yeah.
There was some really standout camera moves, like when she figured out Lupito got murdered or kidnapped, that like huge swooping down from the staircase.
Yeah.
There's a couple of those that stood out, and I was like, oh, that was fucking rad. And then just the cinematography in general, a lot of low Dutch creepy kind of just diminutive angles.
And I love
claustrophobic and sad.
and it adds to the performances too. Like I like Denzel. I think Denzel's made some really great movies, but this is definitely my personal favorite Denzel wrote because he usually plays like the good old guy. You know what I mean? The guy who's like doing good things and everything. And this he plays the dude who's fucking a killer who decides that he tries to kill himself. That's one thing we had. Like
Training Day.
Tries to Training Day, but that's probably the only other movie that he plays this type of role. But even this was a better role than Training Day. I think
they're way different roles.
but he's a bad guy is what I'm saying. Essentially he's still a bad guy in this movie.
He's also much more like subdued in this movie, which I appreciate that kind of acting.
He's just got a lot of demons.
Yeah, it's that subtleness.
He's a really
it's
bad guy in
the
Training
shit
Day.
under the surface of this character. In Training Day, everything's out. He's very like almost externalized. When this, he's like it's more internal acting, which you can see in this movie, which I really appreciate. When it's less of what he's saying, it's more of what he's doing in this movie.
Exactly.
Training Day.
Yeah.
Training Day, he's fucking kills it, of course, but he's just like hyper aggressive. He's like, fucking beating on his chest the whole movie practically.
Yeah.
Even like other movies like Fences, he's very like
King
aggressive
Kong
and
ain't
yelling.
Got shit on me.
Yeah, he's very just like he's a very like passionate actor. When in this movie, he like I said, he was more subdued, more like internalized.
This was also the first of the Denzel movies where he plays a badass, because in the last like 10 years, I think he's made like 5 other movies where he plays like a badass.
I need to see
the first one.
I need to see the Equalizer movies.
Those are great movies.
I've seen like trailers, and I'm like,
those are John Wick.
He looks dope. They seem like they're probably not very good story wise, but
they're
probably
like
fun to watch.
They actually, if you like John Wick, you will like the Equalizer just as much. Just as much. No, I'm telling you right now.
I can see that.
They're just as good.
Why? Because it's Denzel instead of Keanu.
And the
weird names.
And the Equalizer movies are directed by the same dude who directed Training Day, which is Anton Fuqua.
Equalizers are?
Equalizer movies, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check those out.
We should do an Anton Fuqua movie.
If we're doing an Anton Fuqua movie, we gotta do The Replacement Killers, starring Chow Fat.
I've never seen that.
Never heard of it.
Sick fucking movie. It's a 90s movie, man.
I'm excited about that.
Executive produced by John Woo.
Cool. Ooh.
Come on.
Also,
where the doves at? Walken, great. I forgot Walken was in this movie.
I read that most of the lines between him and Denzel were improvised too, which is pretty awesome.
You guys are great. Just go talk about.
Just
go for it.
Yeah.
It would never felt like
friends.
that.
That's the thing. They seemed like old friends. Even the way they would kind of just look at each other was like, these guys have history. Like they never had to like even when Denzel called him when he failed killing himself, and he asked him, he was like, "You ever have a round not go off for you?" And he's like, "What were you shooting at?" And he goes, "Oh, sorry to bother you." And he knew right there, like, "Oh, this dude tried to fucking murk himself."
Yeah. Right. So did that happen that night, or was that an old bullet? That was supposed to happen. That
happened that night. Okay. Yeah, that was a bullet.
I figured that.
And then what I love about that bullet thing is that he gave it to Mark Antony, which he then killed himself with, which was pretty awesome.
The bullet.
It's almost see, it was almost like it was made for that one thing to do. You know what I mean? Which is pretty awesome.
Interesting.
This is also a remake of a movie. This movie was a 1987 film, which took place in Italy as opposed to Mexico City.
With the mafia, right?
Yeah, because I guess when Tony Scott got asked to make this movie, they wanted to set it in Italy, and he was like, "Well, if we do it in Italy, it's going to have to be a period piece because it's not going on in Italy right now. But if you want it to be real, we set it in Mexico because this is going on a lot in Mexico, and it's actually based off of real things. Like there was like a ring of kidnappers they're like the something brothers that were these people were based off of the people that they had in this movie.
Yeah, they did that thing at the end of the movie where it's like this guy went on to do this and this guy went on. It's like it made it seem like it was an actual like real people, but it wasn't. That kind of caught me off guard. I was like, wait, was this a true story? Yeah,
it's based off of true events. Yeah, it's based off of things that happened.
I mean, the name of the thing was like Hermanados or something, which some kind of brothers or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it even had like John Creasy's like death and birth dates. So
yeah,
it's kind of
that's why I was.
What?
So was he a real person?
No. So these are based off this movie's based off of a novel too, and there's 5 novels that star the character John Creasy. And in the novel, Pita dies and Creasy lives.
Pita dies.
Sad.
Yeah.
I know a dude.
What did you think about the ending? Were you happy that she lived? Should she have lived?
So I think the ending, and it gets me every time, is probably the best scene in the movie. That when she looks at him and says, "I love you," and she goes, "And you love me too," and he says yes. I was like, that was so sick. Like, that's just good acting. She's so fucking good, man. She killed that role. She
killed
was
it.
so good.
Denzel is
So
rad,
good.
but the standout
Yeah.
performance is certainly
Is her.
Denzel,
Because
or
you
is
know
certainly
Denzel. You
Dakota.
know what to expect from
Yeah.
Denzel. Denzel's one
Denzel
of the
was
all-time
Denzel.
greatest.
But goddamn, that fucking 9-year-old. How old was she when she made this movie?
Probably 10 or younger, at least.
She was wonderful.
She was so
and then
good.
she'd done I Am Sam, right? Which right
before this. Yeah, a couple years
like
before.
a year or two.
So
Before
she did War of the Worlds,
she blew
and
up
I Am
probably that, right?
I think I Am Sam and War of the Worlds were her two biggest things before this.
Then she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like last year, a couple years ago, whenever that
She
came
was,
out.
yeah.
She was Squeaky.
She was,
She was
red,
one.
or she was Squeaky.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the redhead girl.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the main
That was
one
a
in the
great
house.
scene. It's a great scene when he goes in and and he's just like, I gotta take a nap. Squeaky gets pissed.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, whatever, dude. See ya.
I just don't want Squeaky to be mad at me.
It's so good. What a good movie.
Yeah. I love that movie.
But Dakota always never lets down.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great, man. And I love the mother character too. I like the mother because I love that she's American and she's like the one who's an outsider in this world. And when she sees him and she's like, "Oh, you're American." Like, I like that you're American. You know, I feel like it's almost like she doesn't trust anybody there. You know what I mean? Everything's so corrupt. She just doesn't trust it. And she likes these American and doesn't. I mean, when someone's a drunk, you can probably tell that from just looking at them. So she probably knew there was something going on, but she was willing to not say anything because she felt safe with them. You know what I mean? I think that was cool. I really liked her character. I liked her character because she never had sympathy for her scumbag husband when she found out what he did. There was absolutely no sympathy.
Nothing.
Really,
Kill him.
Yeah, fuck him up. She said that too. She's like, "You kill him or I will."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
That was probably like my favorite scene where he's just like, "I'm gonna kill them all. Anyone who has anything to do with this." I'm gonna, like something, and then that guitar,
and then she said,
that
she
guitarist,
goes,
exactly, yeah. And then like a sweet guitarist started like, "Do that."
Yeah, and he's looking at all the guns, and Christopher Walken's like,
"Oh yeah," and it was like a gun montage. It's like a little gun montage scene.
He's got a dude. He gets grenades.
That was the
rocket
turn. That
launcher.
was that was the turn of the
Yeah.
okay, this is suddenly a vengeance movie.
He shoots a rocket launcher at a car.
Yeah.
It got almost ridiculous it did get ridiculous for a little while. That was like arguably it is hard to choose what side of the movie you like better, because I think it was like funner on the vengeful side, but like I liked the story and like the relationship between him and the girl was really good. Yeah. And she wasn't really in the second half until the very end because we thought she was dead.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that coming? Because I kind of thought I'm like she's fine.
So I've seen this movie before, and I was like, I'm pretty sure she lives. And then like it goes on for so long that I was like, fuck, man, I think she must have died. And then at the very end, I was like, fuck, I knew she.
I think I had that same exact thought process.
I was like, I thought she might have been dead.
What I like is that when he goes to the club and the lady says, "I'll give you the girl," and when you're like, "Oh, she's alive," and then it's not her, you're like, "Oh, she's not alive." You know what I mean?
Dude,
that's cool.
Imagine rolling balls at that rave, having a time of your life, and all that shit goes down, and then some guys come, shoots the gun, and you're like, "Yeah!" And then you all go outside, and it explodes. You're like, "Yeah!"
Now, I will say that's the only part of the movie that I found completely and utterly ridiculous. Everything else, I was like, all right, this is cool. This is all right. I can separate. But that whole thing where
stoked.
shooting the shotgun, they're like, I was like, dude, either Mexico's that fucked up or these guys are dummies. But now that you say it though, if everybody's on ecstasy or they're on cocaine and they are in a place of that much lawlessness, then maybe that is something that actually would happen. I don't know.
Music's blasting. It's a stunt.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I love it. And I also another part of the movie
what's your favorite scene?
Hold on though. I've seen this movie probably like 6 or 7 times, and I forgot about the cops and the reporter. I forgot how he uses them to help him and how they really need him to help too, because basically Mexico is just so corrupt that cops and reporters, they can do whatever they want and nothing ever happens. Like they needed him in order to get where they need to go, and vice versa. Without that reporter giving him all the information he needed, he would have never been able to find the main guy in the end. You know what I mean? And I also like that Denzel never showed venge or sympathy. Even though no matter who it was, like he never showed sympathy, and I love that. That's vocabulary. That was really dope. I mean, the fact that he let
looked-
that woman survive was surprising, but I only think he let her survive because she gave him the little girl. If she
Yeah.
didn't give him that little girl, he probably would have killed her.
And he
too.
let the brother survive because that was his ticket to
That was his
Lupita.
ticket. Yep.
He after he thought Lupita was murdered, he had nothing because he had nothing else. That was it. That was his last hope, was her making him feel like a fucking human again, connecting with someone again. And once she was dead,
Yeah.
he was ready to die. He had already
Yeah.
tried to kill himself. He kept the bullet with him.
Yep.
There was nothing left to live. There's no sympathy. There's no sympathy for himself, let alone anybody else.
Exactly. And I love that. Like, I feel like in most movies, like, whether it be the writer or the studio notes would be like, hey man, like, you got to give this guy a little bit of empathy for people. It's like, no, like there's no, it's like Jack Nicholson in The Departed. Like he has no empathy for anything but exactly what he wants to do. And like, that's the same, it's like the same thing. You know?
He felt funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. I love that character. But anyway, I also really like the way that he painted the cops, like when he goes into the first car and the guy's like, I'm a judicial officer, and he's like, I don't give a fuck, and he just starts cutting his fingers off. That just goes to show
great.
how brutal Mexico actually is. You know what I mean? And like, I know, like, saying in the beginning of this podcast, like, fuck Mexico, trying to rip me off. It's like, I'm not saying fuck Mexico. I'm saying, like, Mexico is a brutal place, especially compared to places that we live. Like, I'm not saying America's not brutal, but there's a lot more laws in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, America's definitely corrupt, but this place is pretty bad. And this is 2004. So
yeah,
who knows how long that's been going on.
Mexico's in a pretty rough place.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the war on drugs, but whatever.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I'll still say that this is my favorite Tony Scott movie. Like, I say that
this is your favorite Tony Scott.
I say that True Romance and
never seen Top Gun.
I'm saying this right now. True Romance and Enemy of the State are my other top. That rounds out my top 3 for sure. This True Romance, Enemy of the State.
But you admit you've never seen Top Gun.
Never seen Top Gun. Okay. I've seen parts of Top Gun. I've just never seen it all the way through.
All right. Interesting.
Talk to me, Goose.
I saw enough parts to know that I didn't want to see it all the way through. I'll tell you that much.
So of all the Tony Scott movies you've seen,
which are most, I think, are all of them except for maybe Top Gun. I think I've seen every other Tony Scott movie.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He has another great movie.
You can't have an opinion on it because you haven't seen it.
He's got another great movie starring Kevin Costner, which is called Revenge, which is about a low-level, like, dude who works for a mafia guy, and then he has an affair with the mafia guy's wife. And I only know about that movie because it's Quentin Tarantino. It's Quentin Tarantino's favorite Tony Scott movie. I always thought that was fun. I need to watch it. I watched that right after I saw it.
You saw it?
It's good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But you've never seen Top Gun.
I want to see The Fan again.
Ooh, dude.
I remember that being
The Fan is an underrated movie. It's one of fucking De Niro's most crazy roles, too.
I remember seeing it a long ass time ago, but I don't.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes is good in it too.
Yeah, a lot of these movies, like, I saw when they came out, but I never saw them again and just forgot. Even like Deja Vu, another Denzel movie that was in 2006. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Loves Denzel.
Fucking don't remember it.
So I read on IMDb that the reason why Denzel was in this movie is because Tony Scott was at a doctor's appointment and Denzel walked in to the appointment and he was like, man, I haven't seen you since we made Crimson Tide together. We should make another movie. And then like a week later, he called Denzel up and was like, gave him the script. And he was like, you want to be in this movie? And then after this movie, they went on to make 4 more movies.
Hell yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
That's how shit just works, dude.
And then
even
he made
like,
Fences.
Even like in our industry, at our job level, if we just see someone that might hire us and we just run into them and like have a good
chat for a
chat.
month and then you
and,
go
like,
into the dentist office with them.
Right. They just like remember you that one day and they're like, oh, like they just realized that, I got to hire someone in a week. Oh, okay. I'll fucking, I just saw this dude. He'd be good.
Yeah.
I wish I could say that. I just saw Denzel and now he's in the movie that I'm writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also read that Denzel said he was getting bored with acting and that he was kind of like didn't have no roles were coming to him, but that he really wanted to play. And then this came to him and he was like, yeah, this is interesting. You know, this is a role that I really haven't played. Because even in Training Day, it's not the same role. Like, he plays a bad guy. Yes, he plays a guy who's a murderer. Yes, he plays a guy who has the same sensibilities and ways as this guy. But this dude in this movie is a good person. I feel who is no longer feels he is a good person. You know what I mean? He personally is the one who beats the bad person. Like maybe no one else would call him a bad person, but he's just like he can't forgive himself for killing people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Neither can
He's
God.
not.
According
Neither
to
will
Christopher
God.
Walken.
Oh
Christopher
yeah,
Walken
sure.
knows, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you think God will forgive us for what we've done? Christopher Walken just goes, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And then
like,
he
yeah,
goes, neither do
me
I.
neither.
Yeah. Which is such a cool line. That's such a great line. Like it's like, yeah, no, we're fucked, man. Like if there is a heaven, there is a hell. We definitely ain't going up there.
What's
Which
your
is
favorite
dope.
scenes?
My favorite scene's got to be the last one when he finds her and they tell each other they love each other and then he dies. I also read before I go on. I also read they shot a scene to where Denzel goes to the dude's place and they talk about what like the value of life and why he does what he does, and then you find out Denzel's got a butt bomb and blows them all up. But they cut
I
that.
watched it.
Oh, nice.
You
It's-
watched
Oh,
that?
It's an alternate scene on YouTube.
Is
You
it
can find
awesome? Is
It's
it awesome?
Well, what's awesome is you at the end you realize because it just cuts to his watch with the timer on it, and I'm just thinking for a second, I'm like, this motherfucker shoved the bomb up his ass. So
Yeah.
I can see why they cut it because I feel like that
He said it didn't
people are
fit in
just
with the
gonna
tone of the movie.
yeah people are just gonna
Yeah.
be thinking he
Yeah.
just shoved like he's got a bomb up his ass. Like I'm thinking of him going there now, or I'm like I don't know, I'm just thinking the preparation for that now, which I don't need to. So I like the way it ended instead.
It
But
ends
yeah,
perfectly
it's great.
because he literally he's a dude who sacrifices his life so that this little girl can have hers. There was a perfect ending.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't die by that dude's hand, he literally just died by himself in the car.
Because you
is
know they were
happy.
gonna torture him.
No, they were gonna fuck him up, dude. I mean,
But
what he
that's
did
why
to
the
the
butt
brother.
bomb was pretty good, dude. That's
Yeah.
my favorite scene.
Yeah.
And it was a trick question because it wasn't in the movie, but that's my favorite scene was Denzel killing the bad guys with his own butt bomb.
You know
That's
what
cool.
I was hoping and thought was maybe gonna happen? I didn't think this was gonna happen. I was hoping this was gonna happen. That the dude they released to like the dude's brother, like once he released and ran back, once he like ran past Denzel, I was hoping a
had the
fucking butt bomb was gonna go off. That
Oh,
is
the brother?
All I'm thinking
That
is
would've
they
been
set the
sick.
butt bomb
that would have
up.
been sick. You just shove the butt bomb up there before the dude releases them, and once he
Why
times
didn't he
out,
do that?
he's got a detonator some shit on him right there. And once
Well,
he's far
because he
enough,
would have yelled, I
boom,
bet.
butt-
He would have been like, I got a
But
bomb, I got a bomb.
I got something on my ass. So I guess that's true. That would have been a problem there.
Yeah.
So
And he probably would have been running with something.
And they would have like if anything fucked up, they would have killed Lupita. He's a businessman. The
Yeah.
crazy thing is everyone kept their word.
Everyone was a
Yeah.
professional.
Everyone was
Yeah.
a professional. Although they didn't kill Lupita because
They did not.
dead girl's not good business.
Professional.
dude, and that scene was so powerful, man, because like she says to him, she's like, I love you. And then he doesn't say it back to her, but she goes, you love me too. I know you love me too. And he just says, yes, I do. Like he couldn't say it to her, but he could acknowledge that she was right. You know what I mean?
Are you
Like that
tearing
was
up, Schwartz?
that was I'm not gonna lie. I teared up when I saw
Tearing
that
up.
scene again. I did.
Glasses are foggy, bro.
He didn't
saw
want to
that-
say
I seen that
anything because
scene.
he's so uncomfortable because he got a bomb in his butt.
Yeah, I guess so. What's your favorite scene, Jake?
I guess we can also just assume
play the
that
scene like there might be a bomb in your butt. just play like maybe. We're not sure if we're gonna use that. So just
it's safe to assume that the bomb was in his butt. And even though he died,
Well, now that we
in the
know
scene,
that, or
yeah.
now that we know, it definitely wasn't his
So
butt.
like, even though it
100%.
cuts with him dying, the bomb exploded. Probably.
there's an alternative reality with the bomb in his butt.
Yeah.
Although for some reason it was just like so. Wait, no, it said that the voice was killed in a police raid, but it shows the journalist going and killing him, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So that's cool.
So yeah.
It was like unneeded.
No, not the journalist.
Cool.
The cop. The man wasn't a journalist. He was a detective that
Okay.
worked with the journalist.
That was banging
Yeah.
the journalist. She's like, we don't sleep together. We just fuck.
Yes.
That was probably the best line of the movie.
Yeah. Another thing I really liked about this movie was they would put the words on the screen sometimes. I thought that was pretty cool.
I love
mean,
the subtitles, and then I love
Yeah.
the use of subtitles when it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was really interesting. He's never done that since that then though either. You know what's
It's
cool?
just to
Marlon.
emphasize sub parts.
Yeah,
It was-
Marlon
and it worked.
Brando. Marlon Brando was cast as the role of Christopher Walken, but then he died right before filming, so they recast it with Christopher Walken.
I heard De Niro was considered instead of
Yeah,
Denzel,
and Tom Cruise
and Will Smith.
and Will Smith. Yeah, I think De Niro could have been really great, especially
Bruce
then
Willis.
because he was and Bruce Willis. Yeah, Bruce Willis would have been awesome, but I think Denzel was perfect. I really
I
do.
think
He
Denzel's
was
probably
perfect.
still the best choice. Like, he's the best. If I'm picturing all of them, Denzel seems to still be the best choice. Maybe just because he did such a great job with it.
The whole time I
But-
was thinking, no, I forgot what I was gonna say. Continue.
But yeah, Tom Cruise would have been weird. He's too like pretty boy for the
Fuck
role.
Tom Cruise.
But you know what? Tom Cruise in Collateral, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? He was so good in Collateral. He was amazing.
Yeah.
That's one of his best roles. Tom Cruise, top 3 Tom Cruise is
Yeah.
Collateral.
Yeah.
Played a fucking psychopath in that movie.
That was a good movie.
He was great in that. He
Will
was re-
Smith, maybe.
You think? Will
Nah,
Smith
I
would do a
can't
good
see.
job?
I don't think
see
Will
Will
Smith would have
Smith.
made this movie because he didn't make Django, and I feel like it's the same thing. Is he didn't want to be in such a fucking violent movie. You know what I mean?
Where
Yeah.
he loses at the end.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Technically.
lose at the
I'm
end.
trying to think of like his most like damaged roles. I can only think is like
Hancock.
Will Smith,
Lo-
Hancock, but hands down.
Yeah,
Hancock.
that's true. Hancock.
I am
Yeah.
Most
Legend,
down on
maybe?
his luck. Yeah.
I Am Legend.
That's more just like post-apocalyptic. so
Let's
that just
let's
sucks
talk about I Am
regardless.
Legend for a second. Let's talk about I Am Legend
Okay,
could be
pause.
one of
Let's
the
talk
best.
about I Am Legend.
Let's talk about how I Am Legend could be one of the best movies ever made if the zombies weren't CGI. How if they were
No,
practical,
I
if they
think
were the
you've
best
brought
movies
this
ever
up
made.
before on this podcast, and because I remember you saying that exact thing, and I said,
That's the truth.
so you're saying if the movie was different, it'd be better? Yeah,
I'm saying if
of
the
course.
zombies,
If it was made better, it'd be better.
I'm saying if the
That's what you're
zombies weren't.
saying.
All right, will you shut up and let me finish what I'm saying?
No,
I'm saying that if the zombies weren't CGI, it would be a
that'd be
better.
better.
Yes,
So if
that
it was
doesn't mean
better,
if the movie was better.
if
That
it-
means
so-
if the zombies were in CGI.
So if it looked different, it'd be the better.
No, the movie
was-
can look the exact same way just without CGI zombies. That's what I'm saying.
CGIZs.
Alright. So if the movie was
Yeah.
better, it'd be better.
If the movie didn't have CGI zombies, it'd be better. Yes.
Cool.
So it's the best zombie movie ever made, except for the zombies.
No, it's not because of that. It's not because of that. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
What's the best zombie movie?
If the
ever
zombies were
Dawn
better,
of
it'd be a
the
better
original-
movie.
The original
So-
Dawn of the Dead. The original Dawn of the Dead is the best
made?
zombie
The
movie.
original
Follow-
Dawn of the Dead. Get out of
Followed by 28 Days Later. Those are the 2 best zombie movies. ever made.
28 Days
is
Later is a
one of
good
the
movie.
best ones.
Yeah, it's great. Second best
Agreed.
one behind the original Dawn of the Dead. The original Dawn of the Dead in the mall. That was fucking one of the best movies ever. Best one
The
of that's
remake
like top.
Dawn of the Dead.
That's a good one, but that's not as good as the first one.
I feel like I enjoy like a Shaun of the Dead and a Train to Busan more than those movies. Like for enjoyment factor, those 2 are like kind of hard to say which one's better for a zombie movie. But they're more. But Shaun of the Dead is also hard because it's a comedy. So Train to Busan might be my
You
favorite
can't
zombie
not
movie.
call
if I
it
can
a
separate all
zombie
that.
movie.
It's
You
definitely a
can't,
zombie
exactly.
movie.
It's definitely a zombie movie. So it's
That's
like
100% a zombie movie.
That's my
it's just a
favorite
little
zombie
bit.
movie.
It's just a little. It's probably my favorite too. I'd say like I would probably choose that over Train to Busan, but they're both fucking great.
Train to Busan
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
I think 28 Days
Surprise.
Later is better
Surprise.
than all those movies you just named.
28 Days is.
better than all
But
those.
if I want to watch a movie, I mean,
It's a good
if
movie.
if out of any of those movies, I would definitely put on
It's a good
Shaun of the
movie.
Dead first for sure. But
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
28 Days Later, 100%. That's probably the next one of my list of like best zombie movies. That'd be right
28
there with
Weeks?
Next up. 28. 28
28
Weeks
Weeks Later
is
is great.
also good.
The opening scene in 28 Weeks Later is one of the most intense scenes ever put in.
where he
the
like
movie.
leaves his family.
Yeah, that was fucking insane.
I need to watch that. I haven't seen that one in a while. I got to watch that one again. I think I've only seen that one like once. 28 Days Later, I've seen a bunch of times. But 28.
All right, what's your
Weeks, I've probably seen it
favorite
once.
scene in this movie, Anthony?
The deleted scene where he had the butt bomb.
All right, well, since that scene's not in the movie, which scene in the movie is your favorite scene?
The other butt bump
the
scene?
rave was
That's a
pretty
great
cool.
scene.
The and I think my favorite was either the kidnapping scene was just the best scene in the movie. The kidnapping scene was the best scene in the movie.
Which one? The one where Pete gets kidnapped?
where Dakota Fanning gets kidnapped out
Yeah.
of piano practice.
Yeah,
That
I
was
like
the-
it because
that's
he
great.
almost like dies. You're like, shit.
he
gonna
almost
die right
wins.
He almost,
Yeah, he does.
He almost dies
Yeah.
a lot.
He
Yeah.
does almost die a lot. He's
Yeah.
not really good at his job, but they're getting what they paid for. But I love it
He's
because
good at getting shot and continuing on.
it's like halfway through the movie and you're like, well, if you haven't seen it, you easily can think this is not going to happen, and it seems like it's not going to happen, and then it does happen.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we assume she's murdered for the almost the entire rest of the movie, literally until the last 10 15 minutes. So that's probably the most important part of the movie. But I like when he tied that dude up and taped his hands up and was cutting his fingers off and cauterizing them with the cigarette lighter.
Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
awesome. That
Those
was
scenes
so
were pretty
great.
brutal.
That was great. And
Yeah.
then the butt bomb, I was like, oh man, that was pretty epic. But
Yeah.
but,
And then how he explodes as he's walking away too.
Yeah,
That's the poster.
way
That's the
exaggerated.
poster of the movie.
cliche action shot of a walking away
sure.
from.
Well,
from
that's the
But that's
poster.
cool. That's the poster of the movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
But this sequence of the whole butt bomb was great because he's like,
Yeah.
you got 5 minutes to tell me everything you know, and as
And
he's
he goes-
telling him, he just finally like gets to know him, and he's like, all right, well, see you later.
Yeah. He goes, make a wish. He goes, I wish you had more time.
Well, it was great because at first he comes into him and he has gloves on, and then he's taking them off, and you're like, why
Yep.
is he taking his gloves off? And then, okay.
Yep.
You see him like,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
oh boy,
But yeah,
That's
he was
awesome.
straight up like,
Easter
I think
stashed
my
it.
favorite moment was like when he
that's
told
called a
him-
prison pocket.
My favorite moment was like when he did the whole I'm gonna kill them all. Like,
Yeah.
and I forget, he said something like, I'm gonna find out everything they know, and then I'm gonna still kill them. Something along those lines. And
No,
that's
he goes-
exactly
goes-
what
That
he did.
blinks at me.
She goes,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? And he goes, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill them all. I'm going to kill anyone who was involved in it, anybody who profited from it, anybody who gets in my way.
Anyone who blinks at me, I think
Yeah.
he says.
And what I love is that she's like, yeah,
She's like, kill
Get
them
'em.
all. She repeats
yeah.
it. She goes, kill them
Yeah.
all.
yeah, yeah. I also read that there were 2 sex scenes filmed for this movie. One between Mark Antony and his wife, and one between Denzel and that chick.
Also
Which-
saw that.
I don't think that really would add to this movie. I'm pretty glad they took that out of it because I feel like it would actually take away from her character. I really, really like her character.
Yeah.
Where do
Yeah,
you
they
think?
never
This is
went-
my question.
they
Where
never
do you
went
think in
romance
this
with
movie? Where do you think in this movie that scene would have went? That's my question. Like, where would that scene have
They
been?
were in a car. I don't know when it was.
Was he all fucked up? Like, was he looked like he was dying yet? Because he was
No.
dying through this whole movie. Like, after he gets shot
He was
at the thing,
dying
he's
the
pretty
whole
much
time.
dying the whole time. He is though. He's dying.
Well, he took a fucking round to the chest and it didn't
Yeah.
phase him to the point where I was like, well, he must have a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah,
And he
same.
definitely didn't because he was just like,
But
all
think
right,
about
well,
it.
Because I
Think
was
about
almost
paintballs
confused when he
at
was
this
dying
guy.
in the car. I'm like, why is what happened? Did he get
He-
shot?
he-
I'm like,
he
oh
just
yeah,
got
he got shot way earlier.
Yeah,
I
he's-
like,
he
forgot
bled-
about
hour and a half
that.
ago.
He bled to death basically. His
Yeah,
body was like, I can't survive anymore, basically. But you
Because I
gotta
thought
think
those
about
dudes
it.
were gonna shoot him, and then they
You-
didn't shoot him. and
you-
I'm just
you
like,
know
did they
dudes
shoot
like-
him?
No, you know dudes like Tim Kennedy. Like if Tim Kennedy got in something like that, because he's training the same way
It's gonna take more than one bullet.
Exactly. Even if
Tim
Tim got
Kennedy.
shot in the chest, he probably would just suck it up because that's how he thinks, and he'd
Yeah.
somehow do something about it. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
The pecs will just close in on the wound.
Yeah.
and he'll be
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
Just has to flex.
Shout out to Tim Kennedy, the man.
I would just probably just call my dad and be like, Dad, I got
Dad, what do I do?
Dad, they took Lupita, and I'm
I
dying.
don't have a band-aid.
I just want us to talk to you.
Yeah.
Your dad be
This
like,
was a great-
Top Gun was better.
I can't go on. I'm like, I know. I mean, especially the first 20 minutes, I got super stoked.
Okay, Anthony, do you really truly believe Top Gun was a better movie than this? Like, I need an honest answer. Like,
Ask
you
me what movie I would rather watch.
It's a good
what
question.
movie would you rather watch?
Top Gun.
It's a good question. You're
Why?
probably right.
Because I
Why?
love Top Gun.
If
Why not?
you know
I
what
love Top
what
Gun.
word I would describe
what?
Top
Actually,
Gun?
I-
Fun.
100%. Because Top Gun is the perfect amount of 80s cheese. And
So
it's,
much.
it's just a great
Yeah, I hate
movie.
80s and I hate cheese.
My favorite Tony Scott movie, Enemy
Sick
of the
action
State.
sequences.
Great
It's
movie.
good. Top
Great
Gun is great. Action sequences though.
Yeah.
You think Enemy of the State's better than this and True Romance?
I didn't say it's better. I just my favorite.
Your favorite.
True
yeah.
Romance.
Do you know what I like
probably-
about Enemy of the State?
Mhm.
What I like about Enemy of the State is how many people are in that movie. Like Jack Black, Jamie Kennedy, Scott Conn, like all those dudes that just played like the hacker
The
guys.
nerds,
And Gene Hackman is one of the best actors that ever graced the screen. So I love that he's in that
Fuck
movie.
yeah. That's great.
I feel like all
It's just
Tony
a fun
Scott
movie.
movies just have like they just all have their flaws to me. They're all just like a little too like like there's some weird cheesiness or some weird shit. It's just all of them I just don't like at times, but they're still always pretty good. They're always
Yeah,
pretty
they're not,
good.
They're not boyhood. That's why.
None of them are like masterpieces to me.
Man, we
None of
gotta
them are
find
none of
another
them
guy
are
to
none
do
of them
this
are like
with.
classics. No,
True Romance.
even some parts I remember watching that just thinking like, man, I wish Tarantino directed this. Would have been
You
way
wouldn't
better.
call True Romance a classic?
I wouldn't call it a classic. It's good. I like it, but there's parts to it that are kind of like cringy and not super great. But there's a lot of greatness to it. It's great.
When you say
but-
cringy, do you mean they bother you and you don't think they're great because that's your opinion, or you mean
Yes.
cringy filmmaking?
That's
So see,
just
that's the
like
thing.
your
That's the thing.
opinion, man.
That's your opinion. Just because you
Exactly.
think they're
You're
cringy
right.
doesn't mean that they're not great. You know what I mean?
Like I don't like some of the choices he makes. Maybe sometimes
I like
That's
darker
it.
movies. I like movies that deal with darker subjects, stuff like that. So
So
that's
do I.
why I'd much rather watch this movie than a movie fucking called Top Gun about dudes flying around fucking smacking each other's asses.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's so good.
No, it's not. It's really not.
You haven't seen it.
Listen,
Have you
I've seen
seen-
parts
But
of it.
it's-
I've watched
fun.
interviews with Tony Scott about it.
Not good though.
I've learned all about it. Listen, I don't need to see a movie to know I don't like it. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yes, you do.
No, you
I
don't.
don't know. That doesn't.
You
Yes,
do
you
not.
do.
Fair.
No, you don't.
That is an
I'm telling you
unfair
right now.
statement.
I could see a trailer and tell you right then and there if I will like that movie or not. I promise.
You're a hater.
Well,
I'm not a
maybe.
hater. I'm a realist.
You're a hater. You're just being
I'm
a
fucking
hater.
realist.
You want
I'm
to be a
fucking
hater? That's
realist.
fine. That's your
I'm
role.
a fucking realist.
Schwartz the hater.
I'm a fucking realist, dude.
Have you guys seen the new Space Jam?
No. Not
That's the
yet.
trailer I saw. I realized that that's made for 6-year-olds, and I shouldn't watch it.
I'll probably still watch it.
Fun fact, I heard that the production was warned by Mexico police that Denzel and Tony Scott were targeted for kidnappings, real kidnappings during the filming.
That's pretty
And they were
cool.
like,
Wow.
that's cool. We're just going to up the security and keep shooting.
Yeah. I've seen interviews with Denzel Washington over the past like 4 or 5 years, and he's actually like a really cool dude. Like the press has asked him like some crazy questions, not crazy questions, just questions about like media and the state of the world, and even questions he gets from like young filmmakers about like how to come up and how to become an actor and how to, because Denzel's directed a few movies, and they're like, and he's just like, man, it's not fucking science. You work hard, you try as hard as you can. It's a little bit of luck, and you got to be in the right place at the right time. And you got to take chances. Like if you look at his AFI award, because the AFI does awards, or they used to at least. Like every year they gave it to people, and he got it one year. And he just has this like 2 or 3 minute speech where he just fucking lays it all out there, and you're just like, fuck, yeah, all right, Denzel, you know what's up. Like I love it. I really like Denzel Washington. I think he's a pretty good dude.
You wash.
He's a good guy. And a great actor. He's a fucking great actor, man. He's made some great movies. If you guys have never seen The Manchurian Candidate, which you probably haven't, it flew pretty much below the radar. It's directed by the dude who made Silence of the Lambs. It's also a remake of an old movie, but Denzel plays the guy.
I'm aware of the
yeah,
Manch.
you should check it out. It's a really great movie. It's one of Denzel's best movies too. You know what I've never seen that I want to see is The Hurricane, where he plays the boxer who gets wrongly imprisoned. I want to see that movie. I've never seen that.
You ever seen Days of Thunder?
The race car movie? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's all right. John
If
C.
you like
Reilly's
that, you're gonna love Top Gun.
Nah.
What are you
It's
talking
Days of-
about?
It's in the sky. It's the
It's
sky
the same
version of that.
thing, but it's jets.
Yep. It's that meets Dunkirk.
Have you seen Cocktail yet?
No.
I'm
It's
only gonna
so
watch
bad.
that. I'm only gonna watch it if Lewis comes on and makes us watch it.
It's so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I can
Well,
imagine.
This
All right, let's
what
rank it.
movie is this? This is a great movie. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Did
any
you
final
think-
thoughts?
Do you think it was like convoluted though at times with like
Discombobulating.
I just didn't fully like grasp. Was it like insurance, like kidnapping insurance or some shit
Yeah,
that he
they
had?
say that. Yeah, he
Was
says
that all it
before.
was? Yeah, was
He's
that
talking
what
with
the?
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of rich
Oh,
people
yeah,
in Mexico that
Mickey
have
Rourke.
insurance, and it's $10 million.
Forgot
$10
Mickey
million
Rourke was in
insurance
this movie.
policy.
Great movie or great
Yeah.
actor. Great.
Yeah, but this is
great
when
role,
Mickey
good
Rourke
role.
was still doing drugs, so he didn't really have many
Yeah,
lines.
but
in
it was
this movie.
good. He was good in it.
Yeah.
I did not think it was going to be him. Actually, even though, again, I've seen it, but it's been a long time, I was getting bad vibes from Christopher Walken. I was thinking, maybe Christopher Walken's going to fuck him, you know?
that would have sucked. That would have
Would've been
sucked
bad.
if that was the case.
He was
'Cause
like,
they were friends.
you
They
should
were
have
like
expected it.
No, they were friends, man.
So I'm happy that didn't happen. And it did surprise me, although I guess you could see it coming that Mickey Rourke ended up being the fuckaroo.
I like that Mark Antony killed Mickey Rourke. I thought that was
Sleazy
pretty
lawyer.
cool. I liked that
Yeah.
aspect of it. And I also saw there's a scene that they deleted where Mark Antony kills Mickey Rourke with a samurai sword. He cuts his head off.
What?
Yeah,
I
they
saw
cut
that
that
scene
out.
too.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, check out the
didn't watch
deleted
it.
scenes on the
Samurai
YouTubes.
sword, dude.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
why
Definitely keep
they
the
shot
definitely keep the
those-
samurai sword shit. That's fucked up. They cut that.
They shot a few other Mickey Rourke scenes. They shot the scene where where they're planning the whole thing, where he's like, she'll be eating ice cream for 3 days and watching cartoons. Like they're
See-
sitting at a table and talking about it.
now something like that. It's almost better not to see that because it's almost too direct. It's almost too on the nose.
So
Also,
all
I
those
re-
scenes that I saw, that all the deleted scenes with him, it almost seems like they could have used those as like flashbacks. Like they shoot them just in case they want to be like, just you, even like an echo of it, just some kind of Tony Scott flash of it. They could have done that. I feel like that's more of what those were shot for, not to actually use them as the scenes.
This was a flashy movie.
I also read that they shot a scene between Walken and him where they talk about the things they've done together back in the day. Like they paint the picture for who like their exact things, but Tony Scott was like, "Nah, make the audience want that and not give it to him." He's like, "That's more interesting." So yeah, definitely my favorite Tony Scott movie and probably my favorite Denzel movie.
Best movie with butt bombs.
Yeah, but bombs are sweet.
The Butt Bomb Extravaganza. All right, should we rank it?
Let's rank it.
All right.
Unless you got more to say, Jake.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh,
was
and the
all
fact
right.
that he was blind the whole
was all right.
time.
What?
Who?
Oh wait,
Who?
different movie.
Denzel was blind the entire time. They just cut
Spoiler.
that. They cut that out too. There was this whole scene where they revealed he was blind the whole time, but they cut it out because they figured it aided the plot.
All right, I got mine. I know where I'm going.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go 19, just above Indiana Jones.
I gotta find our page of my ranks.
Just above it. You think this is better than Indiana Jones? All of them?
Above the IJs, bro.
This movie is more of a movie that I would personally want to direct than Indiana Jones. Yes. This style of movie is more of my style than Indiana Jones, so I think it's a better movie. Yes.
Okay.
By the way, have you guys read about Fincher's new movie? It's about an assassin who's like fucking like going insane, played by Michael Fassbender. That's gonna be awesome.
I have not.
Sounds pretty
fun.
cool.
Yeah, it's based off of a graphic novel.
I think I have a spot. Of
Someone
the,
put it on my thing.
of the 62 flicks that we are rating here, I'm going to go top half. Top 25. Right above The Frighteners. Nope, right above They Live. 21, number 21. Right below The Goonies.
The Goons.
Number 21, Jake.
I'm gonna go lower than you guys. But not
Haters.
Guys have
super
zero
low.
taste in movies.
Come in with the milk. Come in with the milk.
Boyhood is number one. Everybody make fun of them. Come in with not Boyhood.
Come
I'm
in
gonna
with
go
Harold and Maude.
number 39.
Lower end
out of the 60.
spectrum.
2 films, right under Brick. I liked Brick more, I think. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna
Oh,
put it
no.
at 37.
Okay, there we go.
So I liked it more than I liked it more than Brick. I liked it more than Mank. But I think, unlike Schwartz, that Indiana Jones is better
Yes.
than this movie.
Your list is fucking
So,
weird. Your list
it's a
is so weird.
We all got weird lists in other perspectives.
can't
man.
judge a man on
Like,
his
I think
list.
Your list is
Yeah.
weird, dude. Yeah, dude, your list is weird, Schwartz.
Okay.
In
Man
my
with the
eyes.
list.
My list is kind of weird, though. You're right.
So
little
weird.
The movies we've watched is a
The
weird
fact
list
that
of
you have
movies.
Pan's Labyrinth. The fact that you have Pan's Labyrinth at 30 is that's
We
yeah,
have a
that's
lot of
depressing.
great. We have a lot of great movies we have
We
watched.
do have
Look at all
Pan's
those
Labyrinth
movies
pretty
above Pan's
low.
Labyrinth.
That's pretty low,
It
man.
is. It is pretty low. You're right. In perspective.
What the fuck is wrong with
I mean,
you?
it's still top half. I don't know.
I mean, just by looking at your list, I could easily move it 10 spots just right now.
All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Well,
easily better than
Where would you rank it
on
that
your
list?
list.
Where would you put?
Yes,
where would you
I'm
put?
just
I would put
Pan's
it
Labyrinth.
on his list.
Yes. Where would you put it?
14 after Prisoners.
Oh wow, you think you like it more than Take Shelter?
Yes, Pan's Labyrinth. Yes.
Damn,
Pan's
that's like
Labyrinth's better than Indiana Jones, Police Story, Rebel Without a Cause, Once Upon a Last, 13 Assassins, Passive Glory, Sisters, Blood Simple, Seven Samurai, They Live, The Goonies, Blue Velvet. It's better than all of those movies. Yes.
Where's it at with you? Oh, hey, you're at like number 8. Okay, you got that
Yeah,
shit high
that's
for
an
you.
incredible movie.
I could move Pan's Labyrinth up a few spots now that I look at it.
Ooh, we're affecting change right now.
Not that much
cares?
though. Like fuck, like I
It
don't
doesn't
know.
matter.
I could
It
like
doesn't
maybe
matter.
I could maybe put it above Seven Samurai maybe, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to make that commitment right now. So I'm gonna leave it where it is.
Jeff, who lives
milk,
at home,
commitment to milk.
is above Inside Man, Blue Velvet, The Goonies, Seven Samurai, Blood Simple, Sisters, and Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah,
That's a
true
problem,
statement.
dude.
That's
That's a
Jeff
problem.
Who Lives at Home was so
That's a
bad. I took it off
problem.
my list a week ago, and nobody's noticed.
That's a
Jeff Who
problem.
Lives at Home lived in my top 10 for actually a while, and then
That's
I
a
bumped it down quite a
problem.
ways. Yeah, well, you know, I like
That's a
some movies
problem.
more than you.
Boyhood, number 1. What is
Real-
going on?
But it's fucking great.
No, it's not.
I'll defend that one.
Not good.
You make a movie like that.
Boyhood
damn.
is a bad movie, dude.
So-
Welcome Home is a
So
better
bad.
movie than Boyhood. I will
Um,
say that right now.
I don't know. Sound design sucks.
I heard Eric Roberts was up for the Denzel role.
That would have been awesome.
Dude, you gotta just
Shout
hire.
out
You
to
should just
E-Rob.
hire Nicolas Cage. I'm pretty sure Nicolas Cage will make any movie. Why don't you just hire Nicolas Cage?
Don't
I will
disrespect
hire
the
Nicolas Cage.
cage.
Good.
I love it.
Dude, I want to see his new movie called Pig.
Pig, yeah, Pig looks dope.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Is
All
he
right, we
big?
rated it. We've watched it. No, he's
No, he's like
his
like a
BFF
farmer
His
or
BFF
something.
is a pig.
Yeah, and his pig gets stolen, so it's like
Basically John Wick.
it's like a vegan John Wick. Yeah,
Starring Nick Cage.
sorry,
We
Nicolas
don't
Cage.
we
is
don't
the
know
vegan.
that
long
John
hair.
Wick wasn't vegan. We never watched him eat anything.
He probably was vegan. Is Keanu Reeves vegan? He probably
seems like
he
he'd be
seems like a nice
vegan.
guy.
Although he doesn't
Does
talk
seem like
about it
he'd
all
be
the
vegan.
time, so maybe he's not.
I only talk about it like 3 times per episode, so that's not a lot. It's only every like 10 to 15 minutes.
All right, we talked about the movie. We rated the movie. Are we good?
Why does Schwartz always just want to just stop a podcast and like you can just let it breathe, man? Like we can
No,
just
you're not
have
talk-
fun.
You're not talking about anything good to this movie.
Maybe
It's
we
not
can just have
relevant.
fun and it
So
might
say
be
something about the movie, Schwartz.
it could
I've
be
said
relevant.
everything I wanted to say about
Say
this.
one
and
more
you're
thing.
just hating.
On
Shout
your-
out to
on-
Trent
rank
Reznor. Shout
this-
out to
Rank this
shout out
on
to
Tony
Trent
Scott
Reznor.
movies.
Shout out to Trent Reznor for them using a lot of his sound because it was great.
Did they use? I didn't notice that.
So all that like industrial, like that song Jake was talking about that kicked in when it went to that next scene. That's all 9 Inch Nails shit.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I didn't notice. Cool.
You know what they
Maybe
did?
watch movies.
I thought they were gonna use more Mark Anthony songs.
Oh yeah, my l'amor.
Like I still don't know. Yeah, what does Mark Anthony sound like? Play us out.
Yeah. Shout out to the Big Cat.
Shout
Mark
out to
Anthony.
the Big Cat.
Mark Anthony.
Shout out to Eric Roberts and shout out to Mark Anthony.
Yeah, Danny, if you're listening, you live in Mexico. What's it like? It seems crazy. You good? Shout out, guys. Big Cat, meow.
How do you say the Big Cat in Spanish? We have to find out so we can end on that.
El Gato Grande.
Muchas gracias, El Gato Grande, for listening to Make Me Watch Movies. Follow us on Instagram at MMwM_podcast. And follow us everywhere you get podcasts. Next week, we're watching a Martin Scorsese movie. Martin Scorsese, which is a hard one because we've pretty much seen every Martin Scorsese movie. But I have personally not seen 1992 Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro's King of Comedy. We're going to watch King of Comedy, available on Prime. I think you had to rent it, but whatever. Watch that, then listen to us wherever you get podcasts. Making Me Watch Movies, King of Comedy. See you next week, and bye-bye. El Gato Grande. Dude doesn't even listen to the podcast.